Good day. Welcome to Full Circle with Nona Black TV. Got some interesting topics to get into today. Want to make sure that we know the severity and the seriousness of the topics. I'm titling this particular video, Are You Shook Yet? Because I want us to know the gravity of the things that are happening in our country, not only in the United States, but around the world, in our very own backyards. We're going to get ready to get started with the very first topic. As we know, there was a historic vote, and the Speaker of the House, ex-Speaker now, Kevin McCarthy, was removed. 8 of the Republicans voted to for his removal, along with the Democrats. This was allowed because when ex-Speaker McCarthy was trying to get consensus vote to give him the speakership, he agreed to allow one person to bring up the motion for his removal. Those are terms that he agreed to with his caucus, and also knowing that it could put in jeopardy his speakership. He has indicated that he will not run again. So there are now new candidates who've emerged or saying that they run for the speakership. We presently, at this time, don't have a speaker. Of course, when the video posts on Monday, hopefully they will come back into session and will work expediently to try to get us a speaker. The times and everything that's going on, we don't have the time to be going days and weeks without a speaker. There are urgent causes, things that need to be taken care of. Of course, they passed the continuing resolution previously, which is expiring in 45 days. So a week was off from after they ousted the speaker, they took off. And then, of course, so the time is ticking and it's going fast. And the last thing we need is a shutdown right before the end of the year. So some of the candidates for the Republican Speaker of House, of course, is Steve Scalise from Louisiana, and he was the second in command under McCarthy, so he well knows the things of the job. Of course, there's Representative Jordan of Ohio, Representative Kevin Hern of Oklahoma, Representative Elise Stephanie of New York, and Representative Byron Donalds of Florida. I believe there or those people are saying that they want to try for the speakership. I'm sure that as the week goes on, the number of people are going to coalesce or go down, and I think right now the top 2 leaders are Scalise and Jim Jordan. Also, I think they believe they did say something about nominating Trump, but I think they were saying by some laws he may not be eligible. So we need Speaker of House to help the business of the Congress to get done, the funding, the running, help running with their branch of the government. And of course, so this is extremely important. They seem to be in chaos on the Republican side. That is in contrast to the unified side of the Democratic leader Jeffries has done an outstanding job, and his caucus seems to be unified. They're unified in the things that they want to do for the country. And so next week will be definitely to see what will happen. Will some of the Republicans, since the far right seems to want to burn down the House and not really govern and do their part, will some of the moderates cross over to allow the Democrats to govern and, with some concessions, or will they coalesce on a new speaker, but at the same time, will they be trying to do the same thing they were doing to McCarthy? So we'll yet to see, but this holds in the balance of everyday work that needs to be done in the Congress. That's why this is important. The funding has to go through both branches, through the Congress, through the Senate, and to be signed by the president. We don't need a default. We don't need the government to be shut down. While the economy is bustling along, there are weak signs here and there. We had better than expected job numbers, over 330 something thousand jobs, which is awesome. But as I said previously, I believe the American people are not fully getting the true impact of the economy because of the number one cost of living issue, which is mortgage and rent, and of course the rates, the interest rates, of course, are pricing out buyers in the market. There's supply and demand issues, and also with the impact that it's taking up so much of regular household income, that doesn't leave a whole lot left for the other living expenses and people to do the things that they will want to do for their family or their children or education and stuff of other need. So it's a real impact on each and every household. Hopefully the Fed will not raise rates. We're going to go to topic number 2. Of course, you woke up, and I had an eerie feeling the night before when I woke up, and I was just like, we're going to wake up one day and the world is just going to be changed. And this is October 2023, but we need to be cognitive of the fact that our world is changing. The word of the Lord is being fulfilled. The wars and rumors of wars. And when I did wake up, it was talking about that Israel had been attacked by Hamas, that it was a coordinated attack, that they had been attacked by land, by sea, and by air. So it had been planned. This wasn't something just done overnight. It wasn't something just done. Since the negotiations the government had with Iran about funding, this is something that had been planned and had been planned and coordinated for a while. The international community was upset that the Israelis didn't seem to have intelligence of what was happening. They were truly caught off guard. It didn't seem that the Americans had intelligence that they were even also caught off guard. I'm sure the devil will be in the details coming in the future to what signs may have been missed, or some things that maybe didn't get escalated up, and I think they might possibly find some things in that way. But as you know, the ongoing war in Iran, with Russia trying to, not in Iran, in Ukraine, and Russia trying to, of course, annex and take their land. And then now there's a war between the Palestinians and the Israelis. Of course, we know this has been a long ongoing situation, trying to get a reasonable agreement so that they could live peacefully. We know that they were, of course, the Israelis were expanding the settlements and pushing closer, and they were talking about how the Palestinian people in the Gaza area were being impacted, being raided. And of course, you can push people out, you can take their land, but you also know that at some point in some time, people will fight back. It's a large fold entanglement conflict for the different sides and factions. So it's not something that you can easily go through and say, well, this side is this or this side is that. The fact of the matter is that who is your neighbor? We're called to live peaceably with who all men, but of course we know that everyone will not follow those rules or guidelines. So I know that, of course, when President Obama was in office, he did everything that he could to strengthen their defense systems to be able to get Israel to a place of being on firm enough ground that they could be able to come to an agreement to work on a peaceful resolution of a two-state thing, and that was not done. It also wasn't done under President Trump. And of course, it has not been done under President Biden, even though that they've tried to work to repair our alliance. And America has always been ally of Israel consistently. And no one wants to constantly be having people rain down rockets on them or trying to kill them and their people, and then they say they want peace, but you're constantly doing that. So there, like I said, there's multiple issues. There's multiple issues, ethnic issues and other things that would have to be worked out. But President Biden did come out and say that America stands with Israel in this conflict, and if Israel is at war, then the United States will, as an ally, stand behind them, as we did with other countries that stood with us at 9/11. They were saying that it was an attack somewhat like 9/11, not the airplane so much as, but the coordination of it coming from more than one facet of entry. They've said they've taken people hostage. They showed pictures. They showed men over on the from Palestine side over into the Israeli side. Of course, I did see where Israel did start launching missiles over on their side, and it looked like a big apartment or some kind of building that was being targeted. So they are retaliating as well. So you won't, at this time, it's so early in the conflict that you don't know how far it will go. So definitely we can all continue to pray for peace. But these are dicey days and situations. So you need to be shook, because it's not something that will not eventually impact America's on our shores, even over here. As our allies, we have to also stand with them, stand with our allies if they stand with us. So we may be drawn into the conflict more, whether we like it or not, and war impacts all of us. They've spent billions to help the Ukraine, and Israel already gets billions in aid and for defense. And so if they are physically at war, America will probably be doing more. So these things are imperative that we know that they're happening, follow it to see what is a resolution. I think a lot will be happening in the next few days and weeks as the conflict continues, and how the other countries around will react or want to get into the conflict or not. So we can pray for peace, and pray that calmer heads prevail. It's a lot of bloodshed, and when people, and not only just military people, they also count that as well. But when lives of what they consider innocents, men, women, and children who are not soldiers in the fight are killed or taken abducted, like what was being done, it sets it on a more escalated pace, because people that time are like, if you're capable of doing this or this is what you're doing, there may be no stopping to what you will do. So it causes a ratcheting up from the other side. And so this conflict could be more than weeks and months. So it's very important that we keep an eye out what's going on, learn as much as you can about the conflict. You never know what actual thing will cause it to come to a resolution or come to compromise, come to an agreement to halt ceasing of firing. Their President Netanyahu said that Israel is at war, and I believe he means every word of what he says and is going to stand on that. So for a while, so is yet to be seen what will be the final outcome. We have to be vigilant about the things that are going on to other countries. There's wars and things going on in some of the African countries, and while it may seem like those things don't impact us here in the United States directly or right away, we're tied together globally, and with everything being the internet, we're more connected than we have ever been across all the states, all of the different countries than ever before. I want to speak to another topic. I did want to give you a fair warning. The details of this are harsh, and is talking about a young lady who possibly have been murdered. So I did want to warn you before I get into the story, just to caution you. Of course, it's not been a lot in the news, just very likely, but I did want to talk about it on this platform to bring attention, because I want any possible help that can be given to the family, anyone who knows anything, anyone who may have any information, turn any leads into the police so that they can investigate. There was a young lady recently who was found under suspicious circumstances, who has been killed. Police were saying that it was most likely suicide, but the family does not believe it's suicide. She was partially undressed and found hung from a tree in the backyard of a family. So they had activists who were standing with the sister when she was talking, and like he said, that needs to be investigated. Everyone in that house, anyone around that house, anyone who has access to that house or to that backyard, or anything that possibly have happened to the young lady. Her name is Yolinda Lubrin, and her nickname is Yolo. And we just want to lift her and the family up in prayer. We pray, God, for justice to that situation. We pray answers for the family. We pray that we continue to go and put pressure on the police and advocate for a true investigation, which is what the family is asking for. Her sister, Naomi Luberton, was the one who spoke, and the family is asking for help in the case and that it be vigorously investigated. They do not believe that the sister, that Miss Lubrin, Linda Ubrin, committed suicide. I think they're saying there may have been some past history of some mental things, but that doesn't mean that she committed suicide. The family just wants to make sure that everything is done, properly investigated. We know that African American ladies, of all ages, in situations where things happen, that we don't always get the same attention. We don't always get the same resources used. We don't always get the same news coverage, because I've heard it in very just only in the local area. It's not been picked up by the mainstream news media. So anyone here, anyone who knows anything, even if they're outside of the Orlando area, the Orlando Police Department, the Orlando Sheriff's Department, if they know anything, please contact them and let them know anything that is, true or valid toward the case. And we pray that more resources, we pray that the FBI gets into the case. I don't think the young woman just came up out the blue and just all of a sudden committed suicide in someone's backyard. I just don't believe that. It's the same thing like Jillian Brand in Texas. I don't believe that she just automatically just had committed suicide when she was trying to get out. They obviously had did something to her arm. She had been mistreated. And then all of a sudden she was said that she committed suicide. I don't believe that either. But we have to be our own advocates. We have to keep pressure on the local officials, on our police, on the sheriffs, on the community leaders. So look up the sheriff's number, call. What are y'all doing about investigating? We do have power. We do have our voices. One may not be the strongest, but if we all come together and put pressure on them, put pressure on our elected officials, put pressure on our police department, they can try to ignore us. But I just think about that case in Kansas City where they had been, civil rights activists or activists in the community had been telling them that women were being kidnapped and killed. And the police was like, oh, no one's been, that's not happening. No, that's not true. And to come to find out, it wasn't but some days later that the young lady was able to escape from the man's, where he had her captive with the collar thing around her neck and stuff, and she was able to get to a neighbor's house. And that case is actually still open, ongoing. While they lied, the police them then said no one was being, and they had multiple missing African American young ladies. We have to be the ones to push for our cases to be the resources to be spent for them to truly be investigated. I don't know the lady, possibly if the family, I'm not sure. If I hear anything about a GoFundMe, I will let you know. She does need to be probably separate autopsy done, not just by what the police, coroner, or whoever it is. I would have an independent autopsy because We've seen that too many times. That happened in a case in South Florida where they tried to say the young man died of sickle cell. Come to find out, they had beat that young man down to death down there. And the second autopsy was the one that revealed some of all the stuff that had happened to him, the contusion, the abrasions, and everything that happened to him. So I pray they're able to get independent autopsy for the young lady. And I pray, you know, that the community rallies around them to push for investigation, and also that, you know, the FBI may need to step in where even the local police may not investigate it vigorously. So my prayers are with the family. And so tremendously sorry for their loss. Just want to say, full circle, with Nona Black TV family, thank you for watching. Strive to bring you important stories. It's hard to pick out just the right ones for each week, but I do want you to know that it is important that impact of the things that are happening locally in our area, but not only locally, also nationally, and of course in the world, they will impact us. So I do want you to continue to stay vigilant. There are elections and stuff coming up this year as well as next year. Continue to make sure that the people that you converse with, talk with, interact with, make sure that they're registered to vote. Make sure that they know the upcoming issues, who's running, is it judges, is it, things they're putting on the ballot, is it your locals or school board, whomever, that they know and be educated for what's coming up, because we have to be the ones who are voting. We have to be the ones who are advocating for our communities, and also not only for our communities locally, but for our community nationally, for statewide, and for nationally. Thank you so much for watching Full Circle with Nona Black TV. Please, if you would like the video, you're welcome to leave a comment on any of the topics and any topic in the future that you would like to hear about, and also subscribe. Subscribe to the channel. It supports the channel so I can continue to bring you unfiltered opinions and information for things that are important in our area. I greatly appreciate your support and for you watching Full Circle with Nona Black TV. May the Lord watch between me and thee while we're absent one from another. Be blessed.